On the 29th of April, I completed my hardest physical challenge to date, which was running 100 miles non-stop on Huddersfield Canal. I did this for the Epilepsy Society to try and raise some awareness and also some funds as well. And to be honest with you, the event was far harder than I thought it was going to be. I set out at 9:30 at night, with a view to running independently until sunlight the next day, and at 6 o'clock in the morning there were a number of people that were set to join me. But what happened took me by surprise. At 11 o'clock at night, my father, who's in his 70s, decided to turn up and stand on one of the bridges of the canal and stay there all night until the sun came up, just watching and just making sure that I was okay.
Well done, James, number 5. Well done.
Knowing my dad was there meant the world to me. It was a huge uplift in terms of how I felt and getting me through what was a very challenging night indeed. The temperature dropped to about 4 degrees Celsius, which obviously made things quite taxing as well.
As you can see my breath, it's so cold.
And then my partner Claire, she then turned up at 3 o'clock in the morning and accompanied my dad until the sun came up as well. So seeing her was a huge, tremendous boost. The course itself was 7.5 miles long in terms of a full loop, so 3.75 miles in one distance and 3.75 miles in the other distance as well. So I'd calculated with my body weight at 72 kilograms and the amount of calories that I burn and consume that I needed no less than about 80 grams of carbohydrate every hour. In addition to that, I needed 500 to 600 millilitres of liquid as well, and because obviously I wanted to avoid cramp and I wanted to avoid dehydration, I had to make sure that I used electrolytes as well. So each 7.5 mile loop I consumed no less than 500 millilitres of fluid, and with each one of those 500 millilitres of fluid I'd usually use one electrolyte tablet as well. I sourced some SIS 40 gram carbohydrate gels, and I made sure that each 3.75 miles I had one of those as well. In between, at the centre point where I actually joined the canal, I made sure that I had a bite or two of flapjack. But the thing is, I can run a marathon. I've run loads of marathons. I've run loads of ultra marathons, which is 50k for those who don't know. But I've never run 100 miles. The furthest distance I'd run up until this point was 60 miles. So I assumed that I could just apply the same approach and go out at a reasonable pace and maintain that pace throughout the night. But then what happened, because of the cold and probably because I set out a little bit too quickly, I started to get cramp in my quads round about 40 to 50 miles into the adventure. That was a little bit of a problem and it took me by surprise. The other thing that I realised is that eating flapjack and gels starts to have a really severe effect on your stomach. So I got really bad stomach cramps towards the end of the run. When I got to 80 miles, being honest with you, I was almost at a point where I thought, I can't do this anymore, I'm going to throw the towel in. I can't do this. But I was very, very fortunate to have a number of my friends such as Kevin, Liam, Stephen and Richard and Mark join me, who encouraged me and literally would not let me stop. They kept me going, they kept pushing me and they kept motivating me through the day as well.
So at 80 miles, a point where I thought I was going to stop, Stephen suggested we break it down in terms of walk, run.
And by that, we actually timed a 2-minute run followed by a 1-minute walk. And that was enough to allow my body to start to recuperate. But it's important when you do these events, you don't underestimate how difficult they can be, because a slight decline or a slight ascent has a huge effect on your quads and your calf muscles as well. You might not feel it 50 or 60 miles into the run, but as soon as you start hitting the big numbers, the 80s, the 90s, all these like little downhills and ascents start to have a very significant effect indeed. I was fortunate enough to have remembered my walking poles as well. So when I got to 80-85 miles in and my quads were absolutely shot and I was doing the walk run, I then started using poles, which was then enough to just take a little bit of weight off my legs and enable me to carry through as well. I was very fortunate as well at 95 miles. The 2-time world champion boxer Josh Warrington joined me for the final 5 miles, and having him at my side was huge motivation indeed. I can't forget, by the way, my 2 friends Wojciech and Karolina that joined me at 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:30 in the morning. They both ran a half marathon with me and they were like such a huge motivation because I didn't even expect them to turn up. So the nice surprises in this was just people turning up when I'd actually prepared to do this independently through the night. You know, my dad, Claire, Wojciech, Carolina, it was a huge, huge surprise and a massive, massive uplift. If I can look at this event and think, if I could do something better, what would it be? I set out to run at a 9-minute 30-second per mile pace because I thought the course was relatively flat. But what happened was adrenaline was kicking in, and for the first 40 or 50 miles, all my splits were like 9-minute miles. Some were even faster than that. And I thought, arrogance I guess, I thought I'd be able to just continue at that pace. But because of the cold temperatures, because of the slight declines every time there's a lock and the slight ascents every time you're coming out of it or running up to a lock, then I totally underestimated the effect that was going to have on my quads and my calf muscles. So I can't take full credit for running the 100 miles because if I hadn't had people next to me, supporting me, encouraging me and like leading me on, then it would have been very difficult to have completed it, and I would have probably finished the event around about 80 miles. But the final push, running the 100 miles, I did it. We raised some money for a fantastic cause. We raised some awareness for the Epilepsy Society. Just in the course of like running 100 miles, my step count was around about 160,000 steps. I calculated that I sweated 14 litres of sweat, which is absolutely disgusting, I know, and I burnt about 12,000 calories as well. So it was a huge endeavour. We're now 1 week on, I feel fully recovered and I'm ready to start running again. But I just want to say a huge, huge thank you to everyone who's watched these videos, all the people who've liked, shared, followed. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, before I forget, a massive thank you to my little sister Lainey Sutherland, who ran 20 miles on this event, and she was also a huge help in terms of raising awareness on social media as well. So thank you very much, Lainey.